I will be using Colourpop's Blow and Smoke palette. This used to be called Smoke Show, which is what I've got here. I'll start with Ignite, which is a medium reddish grey. I will be using a pencil brush first. Sorry about the camera shake there. I will trace a line following my bottom waterline, and then an arch towards the bridge of my nose to trace the overall shape of my shadow. I will keep the outer part of the eye darker. Then I use a fluffy brush to blend it out. I do the same on the other eye and make sure that the lines are symmetric. I often find it tricky to get the same level of intensity on both eyes because, as you can see, I have a window to my left and that makes the left eye always look lighter. So when doing your makeup, make sure that your light is as even as possible. I then move on to Let's Do It, which is a very dark grey with fine red glitter. I will use this to darken the outer corner. I go in like a V, and only for about a third of the eye, or roughly where your iris ends when looking front. Once I've laid down the darker pigment, I start blending again with the same fluffy brush I've used before. The blending will come in further than the outer third, but that's okay because we will cover that and the layering of the eyeshadows will help blend the colours into each other. I then use Full Metal, a beautiful medium metallic pewter, and use it for the centre third of the eyelids. This one has great coverage, and to blend it better with the outer tone, I will go in with a fluffy brush and a bit of the dark colour. For the inner third, I will use a small, flat, dense brush. I'm using Star Trek, which is a metallic silver. I will try to cover the inner third of the eyelid, a bit higher up, tracing a shape to enlarge the eye. And layer a bit over the pewter colour to help when blending. I blend again with a fluffy brush. At this point, I make sure that the shapes I've done on both eyes are symmetrical and adjust or correct them. I like bringing the lighter colour on. I also made a mistake here, as a fluffy brush still has a darker colour from the previous blend, and there was a bit of fallout from the dark grey, so that needs correcting. To correct, I have reusable cosmetic tips that I dip in micellar water and use to very gently remove the makeup that should not be there. I do this again on the outer eye to fine-tune the shape. When doing this, make sure you are starting with a clean tip, then clean it again as you go along. I finally use a clean fluffy brush to blend first the lighter areas and then blend everything else further. And I use a thin angle brush deep in the dark grey again to line the outer third of my bottom lashes and clean out the outer shape. This dark grey has followed and I need to clean it up later. I'm finally doing my brows using an angle brush with very short bristles and brow powder from Illamasqua. I do a couple of lines on my hand before using on my face to have softer colour, then use short strokes to fill in where I need it to. I'm not aiming for super precise lines, this product doesn't work that way, but for stage we need an overall shape more than anything else, so it works. I also make sure that the brows are similar enough. And then I retouch the blending of the eyeshadows again. After the powder, I use eyebrow gel to comb the hairs in place. This will not completely freeze them, but it works for me. Next, eyeliner. I'm using e.l.f.'s H2O Proof Eyeliner, which is not fully waterproof for me. I first do a very fine tight line on my upper eye and a bit of a wing following the shape I had traced with the eyeshadow. I also extend the line a bit on the inside, as it helps give more of an outwards and up look to the eye. Here you can see the fallout from the dark grey eyeshadow. We'll fix that in a bit. The eyelash curler is awkward to use at first, but will help open up your eyes. I curl, count to 20 or so, release, then use mascara. Same on the other eye. The mascara I'm using here is from Ilamasca. Make sure you use waterproof mascara if you can to prevent it running from sweat or lights. Finally check that everything is symmetrical as I can be, little correction with the eyeliner, and I am now fixing the fallout under my left eye. I really should have put powder to make it easier to clean, but I wasn't expecting the fallout to be this bad. In the end, I cleaned with a reusable wipe and some micellar water, then fan it to dry, then reapply concealer to make up for what was removed. A bit of fine powder to set the under eye now, apply with a small dry sponge in patting motions, and we're done for now. Next time I'll show you how I do the face, lashes and finish it all.